This is a Brothers of Wrestling emergency podcast. Welcome back to the Brothers of Wrestling podcast with your host Logan and
Hayden.
we bring you a little emergency recap of the John Cena final match at Saturday night's main event. We saw how it went down. Some people weren't happy. I personally thought it was the right choice for him to tap out and lose to Gunther because you made Gunther that night. But Hade has some strong thoughts about the show, so take it away, Hade.
Yeah, so my biggest problem with what happened is like we've talked about on the show, Cena's the GOAT. He's my favorite guy.
Yep.
Watched him forever. Love him. Okay? And I think the biggest I loved what happened at the show. I If you don't understand the subtlety of why he tapped out, then I don't understand what you're even doing watching wrestling. There's so much callback and subtlety to that tap out. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why people are outraged about it. It's ridiculous that people are freaking out about it. It blows my mind that the fans in the arena were so selfish that they decided to take over John Cena's retirement show. Like, how can you be
Yep.
so selfish? He's standing in the ring. All you have to do as a fan there, no matter what happens in the match, if you like it, if you don't like it, whatever happens, you say thank you, Cena, and that's it. Don't say anything else. I don't care if Triple H comes out and you want to boo the crap out of him and you hate his guts. That's just so not the time to do it. It was so inappropriate. It was so immature. I hated every second of that.
Yeah, the
They ruined it for Cena,
the
and it ticks
term
me off.
the term hijacking a show gets thrown around a lot nowadays in wrestling, but that one really the fans hijacked that show at
And
the end.
and sometimes it's for fun, and it's funny, and it's good because the show sucks, and that's good. But that show, all it was to celebrate John Cena's career. He's the greatest of all time. He's been around. He's done everything for this business, and all he wanted was one last match where people watched him, they cheered for him, and they said goodbye to him. And instead, the fans in the arena decided to take it upon themselves to, first off, freak out and act like the tap out was like the worst thing that's ever happened in wrestling. Like, the tap out makes perfect sense if you just like think about it for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that they took that show over by booing Triple H, and it doesn't even matter about Triple H, just booing in general, and then having, and then everyone later comes out and says, "Oh, I don't get why Cena's was so upset, and he must have been upset because of the way the match finished." No, he's probably more upset, one, that his career's over, you idiots, and two, that instead of getting just a decent reaction from the crowd where they're like thanking him and thanks for putting all the work in you done over the years, all they're concerned about is booing Triple H.
Yep, because they thought that he
What
was
are we
the
doing?
they thought that Triple H is the reason why Cena lost, even though Cena, I'm sure, had final say on who was going to win the match.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it ticks me off. And then we got people out there like writing these stupid posts and doing these stupid videos where they're like, "How can a guy who's built his career on never give up tap out in his final match? He should have passed out. He should have done this. He should have done that." I get what you're saying. I get it. Yeah, maybe the pass out would have been the way to go. But do we? Do I have to explain the tap out to you people? Like, come on. He taps out. This guy, like you're saying, has built a career on never giving up. He didn't. He would never tap out. Didn't lose I quit matches. He does his whole motto was never give up. He's in his last match. He knows he's done. It's You're in this hold, and you've how many times did he get out of it? Three
Three
times?
or four, I think.
3 or 4 times he gets out of the choke. And that's the whole point. Is like he kept
And
going.
Gunther just
He
kept
did
giving
it
him more.
again.
The
He
elbows.
he he got out of it. 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 And at the end, he was done. He had nothing left. And when a guy who says never give up is at the end, and that's the whole point, is to say, I have nothing left. I tap out. You're better than me. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. That was his whole thing from the very beginning of this retirement tour, was saying, I only have so much left. So when you do that finish, you're saying, and everyone's talking about like, oh, he had that, he smiled at the end because he was so upset that he was going to have to tap out. No, he smiled and did that little look because he knew it was over and that he's tapping out because that's it. Once he taps out, he's done.
It was the
So
face of
he's at
acceptance.
it's like crossing over at the end of your life. It's like that's it. I know it's over. I'm done. I'm leaving. This is never going to happen again. I've moved on, and then he knew, like, that smile was, yep, it's over. I can't do it anymore. I tapped. And yet we got people out there talking about how that it made zero sense to do that. Again, it's all against his character. That's what the character was built for 23 years to do. That's what I don't understand. I don't get, if you can't understand the subtleties of wrestling, don't watch or don't talk about it. Because it blows my mind when people can't understand what they're trying to do there.
Yeah, I guess we were in the minority because I when I was watching it Saturday night, or I guess into Sunday morning, um I when Gunther tapped him out and the bell rang and it was actually over, I thought that was I immediately thought it was the right decision. I wasn't one who was thought, oh, Cena should have won his final match. No, I went in thinking Gunther should win. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know Cena was going to
Yeah.
tap, but I I thought that Gunther should win.
What wrestler wins their final match? And I'm not counting all these stupid comeback matches. I'm not counting all these. Oh, he came back to do one thing, and that's. I'm talking about when they're done in their prime and they say it's over. What? Who wins? Okay, Ric Flair. He went out on a shield. That was Ric Flair's character. He has the match with Shawn. He loses. Shawn Michaels gets the Undertaker. Goes out on a shield. Smacks the Undertaker. And then gets a tombstone. Stone Cold. Yeah, we didn't know it was his retirement match, but he knew, and he goes out on a shield to The Rock. I mean, who's going out on top? No one goes out on top.
I
That's
guess
not how
people
it
thought
works.
because it was Cena, they thought they'd get the happy ending.
It doesn't make any sense. What is different from this one, from Ric Flair, from Shawn Michaels, from Stone Cold? There's what's the difference? He went out on a shield. He did everything in that match. It's not like they squashed him. It wasn't Brock
No,
Lesnar.
it was a good match.
It was a good match. He went out on a shield. He tapped out, and that was the end. And yet we freak out and we start worrying about things that don't matter. I didn't see anyone booing Vince McMahon when Ric Flair had to hang him up, and he didn't even want to hang him up, as you can tell from the rest of his career. But no one said anything about Vince then. At least they didn't boo him on TV while Ric Flair's standing in the ring. They didn't boo Vince McMahon when Shawn Michaels was standing there in the ring getting cheered at WrestleMania. I don't understand. I just thought that crowd, and I hate it because I'm not going to say they ruined it because, like anybody else, I cried. It was emotional. I thought the final shot where Cena talks to the camera
Hmm.
and then walks
That was a
away,
good shot. Yeah.
amazing. All that stuff was great. The double title, Cena was
Yeah,
reluctant to
I
do
heard
it,
that he had no idea that was going to happen. Cody and Punk just did
and
that.
that's fine. And people are calling those guys out for that. That it was awkward.
It was a
I
little awkward, but
It's fine though because it was spontaneous, and he did it, and they wanted to honor their friend. That's fine. None of that stuff that happened was bad. Him hugging Triple H, people are making fun of Triple H because he was
he was
laughing.
laughing.
What's he supposed to do? You know how bad he probably felt that they're taking away from John Cena's moment, and he's standing there just trying to acknowledge a friend someone he's been in this business with for 23 years, and that he's just trying his best to put him out on a good note,
Yeah,
and they're taking it out on him, taking away from John Cena's moment,
I really want to hear
and that ticked me
either an
off.
interview with Triple H or an interview with Cena coming up here about talking about
Well,
this and see what they have to
Triple H
say.
was on the post show,
Yeah, but I want
and
like a
he
candid
just
interview. I don't want post show Triple H.
well, you're never going to get that from Triple
Yeah,
H.
maybe
You're
Cena
going to
will do
get
it.
WWE scrub Triple H, which is fine. He did, and that's one of the problems is that everything is so uncovered
Hmm.
nowadays. And it's not even about kayfabe. I hate the word kayfabe because it doesn't really matter anymore. But it's just about suspending your disbelief. You really shouldn't be out there ever booing the booker. Ever. It makes no sense because the booker is a behind the scenes thing. It has nothing to do
Wrestling
with
fans
what you're
shouldn't know about it.
watching in reality. And it's fine if we know who the booker is. Back in the old days, you know who the booker was. If you were a smart fan, you knew Dusty was the booker. You knew You knew most people fans knew Vince was the owner before he was
Hmm.
odd screen owner. So that stuff's fine. It's the fact that we sit here and you're taking your time away from John Cena. That's all that night was about, was John Cena. And you take all that time away from him and you spend it on wasting your energy booing Triple H, which was just a waste of time. And you just made that such a sour note. And then people are blaming Triple H for Cena being upset in the ring. No, I blame all those fans for going out there and taking that show and ruining that show for themselves and making Cena feel like you just overshadowed his entire career by one crap night. That's ridiculous. Ticks me off.
It was an interesting reaction. I did like I've never seen a crowd react. I've only seen a crowd react this way one other time, and it was when Brock beat the streak at WrestleMania, where there's just complete silence. Like you could hear a pin drop in that arena.
Mm,
It was everybody was stunned. The camera starts panning around to different reaction faces. Now nobody's like the guy at WrestleMania. That guy's legendary.
no.
But
There was that one woman in the front I
yeah,
laughed at.
she was crying. There's people that were like, what the F is going on? Like all the yeah, people were confused and upset, but that was a reaction that I knew something like that could happen because obviously if Cena's gonna lose, nobody there wants to see Cena lose. They're gonna be shocked when it happens, especially when it's Gunther. But the one thing that came out of this is you just made the biggest heel in the company. Gunther has the most heat any wrestler's had on him in years. And we're recording this before Raw happens. I think Gunther should come out to start Raw and basically just brag about how he won against he tapped out Cena. The crowd is gonna hate it. He's gonna be the most hated man in wrestling. And that's what you want. He's become this. That's what he is. He's the no fun guy. He ruins your fun because he's all about professionalism and the ring. That's his whole gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, my main thing about that is like I see what you're saying, but also like again, that crowd ruined that. I think he that they should have been taking that if they wanted to take their anger out on somebody, they should have been taking that anger out on him. And yeah, some of the kids did. I know you said that earlier
Yeah,
about,
there's a couple of videos of some kids yelling at Gunther, the crying, and
and
like,
that's
"How'd you
fine
do this?"
because that's what wrestling is. That's the wrestling.
Hmm.
That's what the fans should be doing. Instead, the fans are so worried about what Triple H is doing that they're not actually putting their anger towards the guy they should be mad at.
Yeah, they even
You
hated
should be you should be mad at
they
Gunther for
hate
ending your hero's
they
career.
hated Triple H so much during that thing that during the video package when Triple H came on the screen, they booed him. They even booed past Triple H. That was he had hair in that interview,
I know that was an old
and they
clip.
booed him just because his face showed
Yeah, I
up.
don't know. Yeah, it was just I don't know. The fan like that that should have been something where those fans should have took their anger out on Gunther and booed him, and then he leaves, and then it's all about Cena. And instead, They took over that show. They ruined that show for Cena. And I'm sure he'll go out of there with great memories and blah, blah, blah. He's never going to say anything because that's the kind of guy he is. But the BS that happened there, those fans thinking they have the right. I, I'm not saying you can't boo anybody, but boo, you're if you're going to be a wrestling fan, you have to be smart enough to understand what's going on. And you have to be smart enough to understand moments. And you took over his moment.
I guess they just let the emotion get the best of them.
Was anyone booing Vince McMahon when Undertaker lost to Roman Reigns
They were booing
at
Roman.
WrestleMania? Yeah, that is the effing point. They should have been ticked off at Gunther like the kids were because the kids are the actual wrestling fans. And these smart mark people that think they know what they're talking about and they think they know everything and that they should have it the way they book it are stupid and they just ruin things for people. Like, just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the emotion. Be happy that you got to see Cena one last time and you got to see a great. I mean, for what John Cena wrestles now, that was a pretty good match. And he had you believing he was going to win.
Yeah, I thought a couple of
That's
times he was
that's
going to
what
win.
you want. That's what you want out of a John Cena match. Why do we let that get ruined? Because there's so many smart marky fans who, because they watch Unreal and because Triple H talks about the booking stuff all the time, that they think they know what they're doing and when they think that everything's Triple H and they just have to boo him. I just don't get it. This kind of stuff just didn't happen back then. And like I said, some of this is Triple H's fault for letting people in too far. I think it's time to start cutting back on some of this crap because it's just you're creating you the what you want to do in wrestling is counterproductive to what you're doing with all this other stuff. It doesn't make any sense because if I'm watching wrestling, I'm trying to watch a a TV show, right? I'm watching wrestling, I'm watching it because I want to be invested. Excuse me. I want to see it. I want to believe what I'm watching. And yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm watching it and I know it's not real. I know I'm not sitting there watching it and these guys are like I know they're not like fighting
I know
for
that
like
Kali didn't squeeze Rey Mysterio's brains out of his
okay,
mouth.
but it's like okay, but if I'm watching a TV show, right? If I name me a TV show.
The Sopranos.
Uh, what
that
a weird
well,
poll.
that's the TV show that always gets brought up when people make this argument online.
But it's
So I
like
just thought of
okay,
that.
I'm watching that. I'm watching Sopranos, right? Okay. I don't care about what happens behind the scenes right now. I'm watching it. I don't care about the actors. I'm watching it to watch what happens in this fictional universe where these guys are doing this and people are getting shot and killed and whatever's happening.
Yeah, that actor's not dead.
And then and then I then yes, if I go back and watch a documentary on the Sopranos, that's good extra stuff. But I'm not at the time. I'm not watching The Sopranos and wondering if James Gandolfini, if he really wanted to kill that guy, or if the director made him do it.
He might have.
I don't care if James Gandolfini was like, I don't think my character wants to do this, and the director said, I don't care. That's what we wrote. When it happens on the screen, that's what happens. It's the same thing with wrestling. Why are we pretending like it? Why are we trying to go so far behind the scenes and try to figure out what these guys are thinking when we should just be enjoying the ride and what they're doing? And yeah, if you don't like a guy, you boo the guy. And if you don't like it, I mean, it's not that's not none of that's changed. If you don't like Jey Uso's title run, look what happened. He's back in the tag team division. That's fine. I have no problems with that. It's when you take a wrestling moment and you ruin it because you took it out of the wrestling landscape. You took the wrestling, and now you're taking a wrestling show, and now you made it too real. Now you've brought in something that had nothing to do with what was happening on the screen into play, and there's a reason it felt so awkward because it was awkward because the fans made it awkward for no reason. There was no reason that had to happen like that. And I'm so sick, by the way, of the F chants during matches. Knock it off, people. No one wants to hear you F off the guy. Give me a break. Have a little self control. Like, what are we doing?
It just ruins the product for the people watching on TV.
Like, the crowd just sucked all around. They sucked. And I hate wrestling fans in general anyway, especially the internet trolls. All these people who pretend like they even watch and they have no idea what they're talking about.
Well, most of them started watching in like 2019.
This ticks me off.
Well, John Cena is retired. He will no longer ever wear the jorts again. So did you hear one of the guys as he was taking off his sweatbands and stuff? One of the guys says, "Take the jorts off. Take the jorts off."
That would have been pretty funny.
That was pretty good. But John Cena has retired, but he did not leave us empty-handed. He did go out tapping to Gunther, but that created a great meme. Have you seen that meme where it's just a close-up of his face with
Oh,
a
where he's
smile?
smiling? Yeah.
It's a fantastic meme that's going to be used for generations. So Cena,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when he's leaving, he gives. So that is our reaction and our thoughts on John Cena's retirement. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like on Spotify, and we will see you in the next one.
When he wants to be the little spoon. Peace.